Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is TJ.
Hello.
And for this episode we watched Before I Wake. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. Since my head is in bad shape, I have a really bad migraine. TJ is going to handle cast and crew for us. Thank you.
No problem.
So let's go ahead and do the cast and crew rundown.
All right. For this, we have the director, Mike Flanagan.
Mm-hmm.
He has previously done Oculus, Hush, Gerald's Game, The First Ouija, and he has coming up Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining.
Yep. He's 50-50.
Yeah.
Hush was horrible. And
I didn't care for Oculus.
It didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Hush bothered me a lot more. Hush actually legitimately pissed me off.
Ouija was a piece of shit.
Ouija was horrible, yeah. So he's like 50-50. So
yeah.
Okay, right on.
All right, so the mom was Jessie. She was played by Kate Bosworth, who's been around for a very long time and still looks the same.
Yep. Yep.
We know her from 21, Blue Crush, Straw Dogs Remake, Rules of Attraction, and her next one is The Domestics.
Okay, yeah, she's been around for a minute.
Looks
great, though. She looks great.
Yeah. The husband was Mark, played by Thomas Jane, and kind of almost needs no introduction, but just in case, he's from The Mist, Punisher, Deep Blue Sea, 1922, The Veil, which was awesome, The Second Crow, and upcoming is the new Predator movie.
Okay, right on.
Then we have the little boy, Cody, played by Jacob Tremblay. He's from Room, Wonder, Shut In, and also upcoming Predator.
Okay.
And then two other names of interest is Natalie. She was the social worker. Annabeth Gish. And she's from so many TV shows.
Okay.
And then Waylon, who was the previous adoptive father.
Right.
That's Dash Mihawk. And the two most notable things is Day After Tomorrow and Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, right on.
And that's cast and crew.
Right on. Well, then let's get into our initial thoughts. I will let you take the baton and run with this one.
It was a very... I enjoyed it. But it was a very sensitive horror movie, I guess would be the term.
I don't mean, it's not even a horror movie. It's like supernatural drama.
Yeah.
Kind of. I wouldn't count this as horror at all. I mean, it had elements. It had some Slender Man in there. So it had those horror-esque elements, but it's not a horror movie.
It was essentially the nicer version of that short story from, what was it, Creepshow? Or is it No, it was from Tales from the Dark Side. Do you remember that short?
Yeah. Well, I don't remember I remember the movie, but I don't remember the...
It might be Creepshow, but it's the one that had Adrienne Barbeau, where she ends up at that house where the little boys...
Oh! Isn't that, Twilight Zone?
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
Good, yes, it is an update. Yes, good call. It's like Slender Man meets Twilight Zone. Yeah, good call.
And your thoughts?
I didn't hate it. When I say that, I kind of preface that as uh-oh. It's not an uh-oh. It's just, this movie was very, very, very flawed. And, was this written by Mike Flanagan? Do you know?
I do not. I think so.
Because his movies tend to be really, really strong concepts.
But also flawed.
So flawed in the writing. Everything else is fine. The camera work was passable.
Yeah. I was thinking that. It's the camera work was good, but by no means spectacular.
Right.
Or even above average.
Right. And he had himself an awesome pedigree of actor. Including the kid, because sometimes kids are hit or miss.
Yeah.
But the story just... A lot of my notes are just... Wait, no, that's not how that works. And why did this happen? And what's going on here? But as far as the idea, and there were parts of the movie I really liked, and I appreciated the overall arc. I knew when it ended that this was a tough movie for someone who's dealt with loss to watch. So I knew that this would really tug at the heartstrings. But the story never had a chance to really spread its wings to, bring the analogy to the butterflies. And I think it's a shame because this had such potential and this could have been really, really good. It was good, but it could have been really, really good. I mean, it had all the elements there, but I think Mike Flanagan needs to work on his storytelling. He needs to work on how he is approaching. He can't just have a really cool idea.
Yes.
And then hope that acorn turns into a tree. You need to nurture that idea. And he never, I just don't know how to put it. He just never sees it through.
Yeah, and also kind of just turning a blind eye to the obvious flaws.
Yeah, exactly. And because I guess he's thinking his story is so strong, his premise is so strong that we'll just ignore it. But it happened in Hush. It was really bad in Hush. It happened in Oculus. It was all over the place in Ouija. And it was here. So there's a pattern. And it can't be just, he's picking bad movies to do. No, I'm not saying they're not bad. They weren't like Ouija was bad. Hush wasn't horrible. And Oculus I didn't think was horrible. But there's a pattern, and the pattern is him. That being said, it was an hour and a half long. It needed 20 more minutes.
Oh, I 100% agree. Like the pacing was quick, almost too quick. The
pacing was good until I guess they took him away, and then it sprinted towards the finish line. I didn't like that. That last act needed 20 more minutes. We need to explain what the foster mom is finding. Explain to me how she's coming to these conclusions that she comes to in the end. She did in bed with Cody at the very end, but show me.
Yeah.
And Thoroughbreds, you can get away with that. Mike Flanagan isn't that skilled of a director to pull that off.
And it could have been something easily solved with, such as like the mom left a tape behind or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We need that extra plot insertion of knowledge. We were going like A, B, C, D. We got Q. We jumped to X. What happened between Q and X? That's what I want to know. It was definitely very, very flawed. And the same flaws this director has in every single one of his movies that I've seen so far. Let's get into the breakdowns. What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was the Canker Man. Not when we got to see his first full body, but just the body made out of the moths with the lightning bugs as the eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a very nice, cool aesthetic.
There's a few to choose from here. There were some really cool scenes. The story was a bit anemic in parts, but yeah, it was, I guess for me on a personal level, because you know how I am about bullies. The scene in the classroom where Cankerman attacked the bully. I loved all of that. I loved that it happened. I love that the girls saw it. But then again, it left a huge thread open that Mr. Flanagan did not tie up. So that was overall my favorite scene because the bully got his comeuppance. All right. Did you have a holy shit moment?
Holy shit moment was... It's up in the air, but I'm probably going to go with the fact... for me, it was two. It was, one, the fact that she was drugging the shit out of the kid in order to use his power.
Yes.
But then also the fact that Thomas Jane just disappeared and didn't come back.
Yeah. I think mine would be... I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to give an honorable mention. Holy shit for me, initially, was when they first saw their son. Their dead son. I think that was probably the best filmed scene to me in the movie.
Yes.
Just because of Kate Bosworth and Thomas Jane's reaction was amazing. Like, I had goosebumps. I have goosebumps now thinking about it. It was just really well done. But there's some honorable mentions. One of them is, I thought a huge holy shit moment was towards the end when when it's going full fucking, off the rails.
Yes.
But
Silent Hill.
That's in my notes actually. Yep. And when the mom's walking away as her son is drowning again. was such a powerful scene.
Yes.
And just like she realized what was going on, and she had to relive that again. Was a holy shit moment. My favorite scene is a holy shit moment when you see the Canker Man like bend backwards.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
That was fucking cool. And then on a minor level, like you said, I have also in my notes about the mom being the villain for a while there. If any, mediocre moment.
Oh, there is.
Okay.
For me, it was the fact that they took the kid away because she had so-called drugged him.
And then they drug him.
Which we knew that. But there's no way in hell they would have known that. I mean, it was the kid, it's like, well, why did you drug your kid? Well, the fucker hasn't been sleeping.
Yeah. Again, that's a plot thing that just, there's a lot of these.
Yeah, it's not like she stole the medication. She had it prescribed. And then, like you said, it's like, oh, wait, you put him to sleep? Oh, I wonder where you got that idea from.
Because my thing was like, okay, well, we're going to take him away because you drugged him, but it's okay if we do it.
Yeah. And ours is a much more violent means of drugging him.
I'm going to mimic yours and just say the overall mediocre moment for me was so many loose ends in the plot. That being one of them.
Because I know another plot hole was the fact of her stealing the social worker's file and the social worker just being... Okay.
Yeah. That's in my notes. Like, why weren't the police called? Why isn't the social worker with the cops at her door? Like, she's not going to be sitting on the bed with these files sprawled out in front of her. Yeah. Like, oh, let me have some coffee and go over these. No, you just stole sensitive information. They're going to be tracking you. You can't not address that. You can't not address the fact that a kid disappeared in the classroom and the girl saw it happen. And Cody he's not just going to go home. And they're not going to not question him. Like they did later at the house, but no. So that was another thread that needed to be tied up. Because that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's my mediocre moment. Just all of that. Just you can't just ignore... Like, you can ignore common sense stuff, but there was so much of it. Yes. That it's like, this is not how... The door... Why... I'll get into it in my notes. Overall mediocre moment was just all the plot stuff that just did not work because the director does that all the time. He doesn't care about validating the plot as long as his story is moving along. There are consequences, and you can't just ignore that. And this director does it a lot. If any, LOL moment.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, me either. So, no for that. Anything else you'd like to add? You want to go to notes?
Notes.
Okay. Philip's notes, which are on the phone. So bear with me. Oh, there's a train coming as well. So there you go. Okay, so let's just gloss over that he has sleep issues. In the very beginning, the social worker's like, this isn't a direct quote, but she's kind of saying he's introverted and he's artistic and he has sleep issues and he's independent. And I was like, she just glossed right over it.
Yeah. Reminded me of real estate agent trying to sell the Amityville house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lots of square footage. Yes. You're out by the lake. The family was murdered. There's a gazebo.
Exactly. Yeah. The kid's the walking Amityville house. Then, have you ever taken Ambien?
No.
Okay. Well, I have, and anyone else that has, you'll appreciate this next one. I said, plot twist. The kid doesn't have powers. She's just on Ambien. Because that shit is no joke. I took Ambien. Last time I took Ambien, I saw people standing in the room with me. I heard voices whispering in my ear. I felt like I was sinking into the bed. I'd not take Ambien ever again. I wrote, the bathtub gets its own screeching violin music, therefore it must be evil. Remember that? It was like,
which, interesting enough, the score was provided by Danny Elfman.
Really?
Yes.
I would never have known that.
There were times that I was like, this is a very more impressive score than I'd expected this movie.
So I didn't get that. I didn't hear like shit that we get with Danny Elfman all the time. This is like Danny Elfman subdued. He says shoes make the floor dirty. Truth. I'm a big proponent of taking your shoes off at the door. I wrote, this is a bad joke, so I wrote, before I wake, aka butterfly effect. Ha! The butterfly effect?
Yes.
Ha! Ha! Okay,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. If you want, you can feel free to insert a laugh for me.
Okay, laugh track now. Actually, I'm going to retell it. I'm going to retell it right now. What's that laugh track? Before I wake, a.k.a. butterfly effect. All right, there we go. I did like the introduction of the powers manifesting.
Yes.
I liked that. What this movie did right was the powers manifesting, the foster parents dealing with it, up until Mom went full-on manipulative villain.
Yes.
The fact that they put two and two together so quickly, I appreciated that. So that part of the writing I thought was solid. Everyone's reactions to things, for the most part, were good.
I think that Thomas Jane's reaction to realizing what his wife was doing was very good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you got this vibe. I did, but the leader of the support group kind of seemed like a douche.
Yes.
Condescending and
judgmental.
He rubbed me the wrong way.
Which, to be fair, I don't like support groups all that much. So,
right.
Because the leaders tend to be that way.
Right. He was just smarmy and oozing it. So after their dead son appears, and then they're just, okay, he's gone. And they put it together, I'd be going to his room and asking him, how did you make our dead son appear?
Mm-hmm.
Then I wrote, I really hope the new foster mom isn't going to use Cody to try and see her biological dead son again. But, yeah. Then I wrote, I think this is a scene you're referencing when we see the Canker Man take form of, like, butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
I said, in this scene, his sleep paralysis demon takes the form of butterflies.
Yes.
When she was hanging the pictures back on the wall of Sean, I wrote, foster mom has moved into stage 2 manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, here's another thing that just was kind of stupid. Okay, so we're at the scene where Cody doesn't want to go outside and have recess. They can clearly see the bully is standing in the hallway waiting for him.
I know.
So I'm thinking, okay, I can clearly see this bully is standing in the hallway waiting for him, but I'm just going to leave anyway and leave him by himself in the room and turn the lights off.
Mm-hmm.
What? No, she would have escorted him to the playground and then came back to check on Cody.
Yes.
A small little thing when Cody's looking under the bed with his flashlight. I did appreciate that the floors were a little dirty. Because it's a house, they would be. Like, it's, just stuff on the carpet. Like, there would be, because that's how it is. Tomb Raider's magical, mystically clean study that was abandoned for 7 years. Then I wrote, foster mom is in stage 3 manipulation with prescription drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought to myself, just give him whatever they gave to the kids in Freddy vs. Jason.
I know.
I forget what it's called.
The drug that would prevent them from having dreams?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called something, I forget it now.
Mm-hmm.
But give him that. Then there's this part where we're flashing back to the former foster parents with the guys telling the story. And the Canker Man's coming in the room and opens the door. And the door, like, just bangs against the wall. And I'm a really light sleeper. So I do not know how people can sleep through that shit.
I don't either.
I mean, I'm talking people, when people open a door, I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
But not let alone opening the door and it banged against it, went bang against the wall. I wake up, come on. I don't know unless you're on Ambien too. And then we addressed this, but I wrote, why aren't the police or that caseworker at her house being all, hey, can you give us back the files you stole? Then I said to myself, how they explain and resolve this is going to make or break this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this at the part where the new foster mom was getting clues and following the trail. Okay, another stupid thing that just no. If you have a building full of children that are like foster children, the doors are going to be locked. She just walked right the fuck in there. No, the door's going to be locked. Come on. Like Child Protective Services, my ass. How you protecting kids if the doors aren't locked? And then you reference it, and I wrote it down too. I was like, and then she turned the corner into Silent Hill.
Yep.
First off, she took a big gamble in using that blue knitted butterfly thing to stop the Canker Man. And secondly, how did she know to do that? They never showed any of it, of her putting the pieces together. Mm-hmm. Even when she explains it, how did she know to do that, though? Just you have to explain a little, Mike. Come on, dude. And then I wrote, okay, so it's him, meaning Cody, as the Canker Man. But why did that work? It's like you're not helping me out here. And then I wrote, and she abducts him. The end. On that note, I wrote, isn't there like paperwork you need to fill out? The social worker can't just nod, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You can't go to court and be like, Your Honor, she nodded. There's protocol. No, Mike, come on. I did like the plot twist with the word cancer.
Yes.
I thought that was really clever.
Mm-hmm.
And the explanation of it was also very clever and made sense.
Yeah, especially with how the Kinkerman looked.
Exactly, yes. It leaves a lot unanswered, though. Like, where did the people go then? It doesn't... A happy ending, I guess. Like, it didn't flow with me. I didn't like it. I thought to myself, what happens when Cody becomes a teenager and goes through that whole, like, teenage rebellion bullshit? What then?
Yeah.
I mean, he can now magically manifest things without being asleep, apparently. So, and I don't like how open-ended that is.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't explain anything. There's no real resolution here. And maybe that's the point. But at the same time, you can't peg it as a happy ending with, oh, the bully woke up in his bed and the husband and wife are back together and daddy is in a happy place now. That's not resolution to me.
No.
To me, it's a little lazy. And I can see how it's touching and kind of powerful in a way for people. And I respect that, as I said in the beginning. But at the same time, it just didn't work for me, personally. The ending was fine and didn't... We've watched movies where the ending just ruins the movie. This didn't do that, but it also didn't really do anything that we saw justice, in my opinion. And then finally, and I think you'll agree, this is a premise I would love to see tackled by Asian horror.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see someone...
Totally.
Yes. Can you imagine an Asian horror version of this movie?
Mm-hmm.
It would just... It's right... It's in that wheelhouse. It is ghosts, and it is the supernatural, and it is eeriness, and nitpicking one more time. When we dream, it's very... Well, for me, it's very vivid. It's very expansive. Does all he dream about is just butterflies?
Yeah, very true.
I expected like a very much like What Dreams May Come, where the whole scenery changed. Because it should have. If he's manifesting his dreams, he's not dreaming of just one animal, and a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even before we watched this, I expected something really fantastically, like Pan's Labyrinth, horror-esque.
Well, I mean, even taking what you're saying right there, they did a better job with that in the Twilight Zone.
Yes, yeah.
Short.
Yeah. It's another cool idea, but it was not seen all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the biggest crutch this movie has. It's so many interesting and cool ideas, but very little are seen to a satisfying conclusion, at least for me. And then you couple that with so many this would not happen that way moments that what could have been something really freaking awesome just kind of left me kind of
Mm-hmm.
eh. And those are all from my notes. We can keep talking about the movie, or we can go to final thoughts.
Just one quick thing that I was reading about to go with our placement of trying to figure out, it didn't seem right labeling it as a horror movie. I was reading the trivia, and the director himself objected to it being coined as a horror movie. He referred to it instead as a fable or supernatural drama.
No! He's stealing my mind thoughts. No! I don't want to be on the same page as him. Although he's more famous and richer and is making movies, so never mind. Maybe I do want to be. Yeah, okay, never mind. And I can see it also being a fable.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going from the perspective of a fable, a lot of the stuff I am complaining about, I can forgive. But, a fable, it's not supposed to be really grounded in reality, because it's,
Yeah.
But if it's supernatural drama, then what I'm saying, it has some merit. So it depends on what you're leaning towards. If this is more of a fable to you, then you're probably like, Philip, shut the fuck up. It was amazing, and I loved it. If you're like supernatural drama like I am, then you're kind of being like, yeah, work on that, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You always have promise, but you never deliver 110%. And you could. I have faith in you, sir. If you ever listen to this, try a little harder, and you can make something fucking awesome. This could have been epic. And it should have been, but it wasn't. All right, anything else? You want to go to final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts, here we go. I mean, I would recommend it. I have the things that I don't really care for, but it didn't really... This is going to be a different experience, I think, for different people.
Yes.
Which the same can be said for most movies. But, unless it's like really... Like, Ouija was just shitty, so if anyone liked Ouija, then no. But I would say, based on your own personal... your own life, I guess, and your own experiences, this is going to affect you or touch you in different ways. Or lack thereof, in my case. But it's something I would recommend. It was an hour and a half. It flew by. It needed to be 20 minutes longer. But overall, it's an interesting concept, and one that I would love to see remade by either someone in Asian horror or someone with... Imagine this in, like, Del Toro's hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see? This would have been epic. And this kind of idea deserves that. So I think that we had this awesome idea, but just cut the legs out from under it and trying to pass it off as this fully formed thing. In my opinion. But would I recommend it? Yes.
And agreed. I would totally recommend it.
All right. Any reasons why?
I mean, just like what we've already touched upon. I mean, granted, aside from being flawed, it was still highly enjoyable. And most of the flaws are just going with too much of a leap of faith on the audience to
agreed.
Ignore the blatant plot holes.
Yeah, agreed.
Which, I mean, there's lots of directors that have done that before in the past. So, and there will be lots more in the future.
I think it just bugs me more because this had such potential.
Yes.
And it had moments of greatness, like little glimmers of hope, but then just caved in on itself. Because I almost want to say the director just can't help himself. Because he does it over and over and over. So it's not just a one-time thing with this movie. All right, so before we close the book on Before I Wake, what did we learn?
Let's see. I learned that if a kid has reality warping powers, giving him sleep medicine makes his dreams channel the shit out of Nietzsche.
I'm going to applaud that one. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yes. We're going to end on a highbrow note. Awesome. I learned, basically, don't mess with a kid who has the powers of a sleep paralysis demon.
Yes.
Just, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're a bully, watch out who you fuck with. You just never, ever know. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. Tell us what you thought of the movie in the comments below. What side do you fall on? Do you fall on the fable side? Or do you fall on the supernatural drama side, where I'm at? If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the podcast. And please subscribe to the channel, including hitting that notification bell to stay up to date on the newest content. Speaking of, our next podcast will be on the movie The Endless. And that describes the wait for this movie.
Yes.
You've been wanting to watch this forever.
Yes. And then they tease it and be like, it's coming out this time. Oh, no. We've changed our mind. We changed our mind the day before it was supposed to be released.
We've changed our mind 47 times. All right, so that will be the movie for next time, The Endless. So until then, once again, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we will be back next time to talk about The Endless. Goodbye.
Goodbye.